Good afternoon, everybody. How are you today? Welcome to Thermomixing Adventures. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Lisa Keegan, and the last 2 weeks we've now been doing a series on manual making in the Thermomix. So this is really for those of you who maybe have a TM6 and you want to upskill in your TM6, or maybe you've got a TM31, TM5 or another thermo cooker. This is also for you. Now today we're doing mincing meat. So I'm going to give you a whole lot of hints and tips on how to mince meat. Later on I'll be turning these into meatballs, but I'll do that off camera because no one wants to see me rolling raw meat, that's for sure. Now let me just introduce you to our turbo mode. Now if you've got a TM5 or a TM31, your TM5 has it across in the grey section, your TM31 has it on a button up the side, and on the TM6 we swipe sideways to our mode screen and it lives under here, under there. So it's got turbo. Now I don't want to push it yet because it'll lock my arms on ready for that turbo mode where it pulses the machine. So I'm not ready quite for that yet. We'll get to that in a minute, but I would love to know if you're still buying mince meat. I'd love to know about it. Somebody's just pulled the power out. Can you go see why the power's gone off, please? We've literally just rocked up to Longreach after a massive day. If you ever get a chance to go to Age of Dinosaurs out of Winton, I can highly recommend it. It's been a fantastic, probably 4-hour tour day today as we moved from place to place. So we have just rocked up, hence the reason I'm super late. So I do apologise for being late. But back to mincing meat. So you can mince meat from fresh or frozen. Now frozen, it's important it's frozen if you've got something that's got a fat or a sinew or it's a tough meat. You can mince things like chuck, okay? There's no reason why you can't, but make sure they're frozen. And even things like thigh with it's got a bit of fat on it, the thigh typically, it needs to be frozen. Otherwise it'll just wrap around your blades, it doesn't do a nice job. However, things like your rump and your rib and your breast and even things like your lamb, if it's got the fat and the sinew off it, you can have it fresh and it will mince perfectly the same, okay? So it just depends on your cut. You need it frozen if it's got something it needs to chop through. Otherwise it just kind of more pulls and stretches. So today I'm going to put into my machine, I'm going to grab a simmering basket out first, frozen meat. So I freeze mine flat. I've got chicken breast here. And I freeze it flat packed like this in a Glad bag or my reusable bags. They were in use at the time, so this is what it is. This is chicken breast, and all you got to do is take it out with 10 or 15 minutes so that you can break it up into chunks. You'll see this one, it's now broken up into chunks. Do say hi if you're watching, by the way, and I'd love to know if you've minced meat before. One of my favourite recipes with minced meat is kebabs. Not kebabs, Kievs, wrong K word. The chicken Kievs, beautiful, okay? Any filling in the middle. You might do the garlic butter. You might instead do something like a pesto in the centre. Absolutely beautiful, so many options. Chicken nuggets, amazing. And at least you know exactly what's in it, right? When you buy mince, you know, traditionally it was the cheaper cut, right? It was the leftovers, whereas when you make it yourself, you know exactly what's in it. So I'm going to weigh this for you and let you know how much can go in. Typically I don't like to do more than about 300 grams. If it's frozen though, it's a bit more, you can do 500, okay? But fresh, definitely no more than about 300. You'll find you won't get a good dice on it. You'll find the top is still chunky, bottom is pureed. If you do too much, you'll notice you'll have to dig some out. I've done that in the past. So in with this goes, I need to make sure they're broken up enough to fit down the sides of the blades. Now I would like to know, those of you who've been watching along and learning lots of tips, I would love to know if you've got a recipe that you'd like me to convert next week, because next week's all about bringing all these hints and tips together. Just having trouble getting out of the bag, into then showing you how this actually looks in an entirety of a recipe. So that's next week. So if you do have a recipe, you know, maybe it's an old recipe that's from your mum's cookbook, or maybe, I don't know, if you've got something and you want me to do it, let me know. I do have a few I want to show you, but I also would love to take some of your recipes that maybe you've never, you know, maybe you're still getting out the bowl and the what's that called, the mix master, and making it. I'd love to know. There you go, 380 grams in that packet. Lid on. As I said, up to 500 will work if it's frozen. Let's bring up our turbo. See how the arms lock? So on a TM6, guys, to get that out of unlocked, you push the home key and that'll release those arms, okay? So if I push the house, those arms release, all right? Well, hang on, wrong thing. Let's go over here. Turbo. It's been a long day. Amazing day, I tell you, but long. Okay, so you can see here we've got 1 second on the timer. You've got the option to, on the TM5, change that up to 2 as well. So you can click on it and change it, or on the TM6 you can as well. And then we just click on the little wave looking one and we give it a spin. you see what just popped out? I want to tell you something. That was totally incidental, but let me just give you randomly a little tip. This is the plug that protects your screw on your TM6, TM5 bowl, even TM31 bowl. Okay, if it pops out, never fret. Try and grab it before it goes down the dishwasher. Often we find them in the dishwasher baskets. But a little tiny bit, a little teeny tiniest dab of super glue, and stick it back in, okay? It'll just go straight back in the hole. Make sure you get it the right way around. Not too much. You don't want to ooze super glue out the side, but it's just protecting the screw in there. Don't stress about that, okay? Let me know if you do lose it though. I can get you a replacement one, okay? So if it has gone down the sink or something, let me know. Total incidental, random thing, off topic. Now, normally 3 goes of turbo will get you a nice mince meat from frozen. If you have fresh, you're going to want to push it 5 times. So I'm going to spin it one more time. Now, if you've got chuck meat in there, you'll look in there and you'll think, oh gosh, that's really dry. And it will be. It'll look like breadcrumbs. It'll look like brown breadcrumbs. You definitely, if you're using a really dry meat, you're going to need to add oil. You're going to need to add breadcrumbs, probably a couple of eggs to bring it together. You're going to have to bring that substance together and give it something somewhere. All right. It still does make it pretty okay. Bread rolls. Gosh. Meatballs. However, you do want to bring, put something in it to bring it together. I have done many of the demos with it. It does work. However, you do need something more to it. But look at that. Check that out. There is chicken mince in, was that 3 or was that 2? No, I think that was 3 turbos. How cool is that? As I mentioned, fresh, so you can do it in fresh. It just will take a little bit longer, probably take 5. But definitely if you're using something that's got the fat or the sinew on it, you're going to need to then make sure that it is frozen, not the fresh like the breast. So that's it. Pretty much from here, to turn this into meatballs, I'm going to add some herbs. I'm going to add an egg. I'm going to add a little bit of rolled oats. I'm going to bring them together. Haven't decided if I'm going to steam them or fry them yet. I really love the meatball and tomato sauce recipe, so I will make the beautiful tomato sauce for underneath. But that's how you do mincing. How simple is that? Like, there's no need to go buy mince meat that is of interesting quality when you can do it yourself in seconds, literally seconds. Something good to know though is you can mill down something else first. So long as it's dry, you could have in here before you do the turbo step, you could do something like parsley leaves and oregano and thyme and mill that down. You can even do a clove of garlic, some onion if you want. Mill that first before you then add your chicken, and obviously the egg goes next. The binding ingredient goes last once you've created that mince, okay? So simple as that. I'd love to know if you give it a try. I'd love to see your pictures, so please don't ever hesitate to reach out with your pictures. Please let your friends and family know about the amazing 2 offers that are on at the moment. If you're not sure the finer details on that, I will explain it, but also go to my website and check it out, okay? There's latest news up the top, or recent news, and you'll see on there that we've got an overlap at the moment where you can choose. You can choose between the awesome Meter barbecue cookbook and skewers for $49 extra with your TM6, or you can do the amazing kitchen toolkit and the meals in a flash cookbook for free. So you got a choice, which is just absolutely amazing. Thanks Thermomix for that. So I do love my kitchen toolkits. I've got 3 with us, I think. I've got 2 in the van and 1 in the car. So I love the knives. If I open that drawer, there's about 4 knives in there from the kit alone. So fantastic. It's actually made out of the same steel, but the blades are made out of the TM6. So from a little place called Soligen in Germany, Soligen Steel is what the blades are made out of, and so are the blades on the knives, which is pretty cool. But that's it from me today. Have a fantastic weekend. I look forward to sharing with you next week some manual recipes, really, is what we're going to. So that'll be lots of fun, I'm sure. I do hope you've learned a whole lot of hints and tips. If you're brand new watching me though, do say hi if you're watching. But maybe if you've just got a Thermomix, these might be a little bit complex for you, okay? These recipes, I surveyed my customers and said, what can I help you with further? And getting confidence around manually doing things was one of those things mentioned. So I thought, let's do this. It has expanded. It was just going to be 1 week. We're now up to 2, and the next week will be 3. But I'm all about showing up to help you get more out of your Thermomix. So if I can help you get a Thermomix on the bench to save you time and money and energy in your kitchen, or if I can help you get more out of your existing Thermomix or thermo cooker, by all means, let me know. Or if you've got questions about the things I've done, always love hearing from you as well. So take care, have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you back here on Monday. And thanks to those of you who have popped on and say hi as well. I will talk to you